data science and AI, with all due respect, is still very young, not only within Alstom, but globally, right? So we are doing a lot of educational stuff to basically explain to our experts really what we can do, solutions for the end users, right? Is that the part of the maintenance? Is that part of the energy? Is that part of the optimization? Whatever it might be, right? Our goal is to reduce for globally for all our systems as well as subsystems, reduce by 25% the reduction of the CO2. We are working on extending the autonomous driving from a metro, from the urban setup where the kind of conditions is limited, right, into the outside.
Welcome to the CAIO podcast, where we explore the world of chief AI officers and uncover the strategies, challenges, and triumphs that come with steering artificial intelligence initiatives within organizations. I'm your host, Sanjay Puri, and today I'm thrilled to have with us Dr. Nenad Mijatovic, the Data Science and AI Director at Alstom. Alstom is a global leader in the mobility industry, providing a diverse range of solutions from high speed trains and metros to turnkey systems, services, infrastructure, and digital mobility. With a presence in over 63 countries and a talent pool of over 80,000 people from 175 nationalities, Alstom is at the forefront of innovation in the transportation sector. And I have a feeling that if you been on a metro or a train or subway somewhere, you would have dealt with them. In this episode, we'll delve deep into Ninad's journey as an AI director, explore the role of AI in Alstom's operations, and gain insights into the challenges and opportunities that come with implementing AI solutions in a complex and multinational organization. So let's dive right into it. Ninad, thank you for joining us very much today. We have a global audience of AI experts, passionate AI folks who want to be in this industry, CEOs, policymakers. So, to begin with, can you share your journey and how you find yourself at the forefront of AI and data science leadership at Alstom?
Sanjay, first of all, thank you so much for having me. So it's really my pleasure to be here and share my experience with your audience. Let me really be straight with you. Uh, I I have been always thrilled about mathematics, computer science, analytics, data, right? And I've been working in different positions from the startups, the mid-sized company, big-sized companies, and throughout all my professional as well as academic career, I've been dealing with the data, right? But the data with the purpose. So it is absolutely magical to have mathematical or statistical or machine learning or AI or name it however you want algorithms which can explain the data, right? Which is really kind of thrilling and unbelievable. Why I choose more specifically Alstom, right? So first of all, it is because the company has a big purpose. So you mentioned greatly in your intro what Alstom is about, right? So we're building the trains, we're building the mobility systems which allow people to go from point A to point B, to go to school, to go to work, to go to have fun, to see art, etc. Right? But it's doing that in a super efficient way. So mobility and the trains are the most effective way of moving the people and stuff around, right? And my personal, kind of lead why I wanted to be here is, can we do even better, right? Can we even improve this efficient way of moving the stuff around with the data science and AI? And that is what my team and myself are working on a daily basis.
So, you made some very good points. There's your focus has been data, but data with a purpose. And you wanted to work with an organization like Alstom, as you said, that is making a huge difference. As you said, transportation, whether you're going from A to B, somebody's going to their school, to their work, somebody's going to the hospital, seniors are going there. Those are very important things. How do you get to there? Or goods going from one place to another. You have groceries that need to be transported. So you wanted to work with some thing for purpose. Within Alstom, as the director of AI, for our listeners, can you tell us what is your role so that they understand? Because director of AI is a very broad term, means a lot of things to a lot of people. So just for their understanding.
Awesome question. So basically, what we do within the team is we are making sure that all business requirements which are related with data innovations, and AI, right, will come the right home, right, the right application. And what we do is we are, providing the first of all basic stuff, and that is data science and AI métier. So if someone is in a need for developing an algorithm, is that algorithm, from the operational research background, or maybe statistical inference, or maybe the deep neural network, or maybe it's AI or data science, name it, right? They will come to my team to get the right tool for the job, right? At the same time, we're aligning our work with the business needs. So if the business is having the new project related with, for example, predictive maintenance, we will be there to provide them with the guidance, what needs to be done, what kind of data should be collected, what is going to be the targeting platform where we are going to run our algorithms, how the end users, maintainers will interact with the platform, right? Also, what we're doing is data science and AI, with all due respect, is still very young, not only within Alstom, but globally, right? So we are doing a lot of educational stuff to basically explain to our experts really what we can do, and sometimes more importantly what we cannot do, right? So we are very transparent in our position, right? So basically trying to make sure that they fully understand our capabilities as the team and how we can help them to be more efficient, and really getting the right solution for the job, right? We are also big on education. So every team member coming into the team, right, will bring their own skill sets, right, from the data science or AI. So we are making sure that that person feels comfortable into this new organization, and from the day one, they become a little kind of experts of their own field, right? Which is really really nice. We are also having a lot of, you can think of internal, I wouldn't say competition, but for your audience might be the best word to explain it, where the teams will come with the new ideas, which many of them nowadays read 50%, uh, contain some kind of AI slash data science subset, right? And basically what we're doing is we're making sure that all these new ideas, right, will resonate among the business, and that will become the new business opportunity for the global Alstom, right? And now that business opportunity might be internal, meaning that improving the internal processes, or making sure that the requirements are in the right form, or we are making sure that our algorithms are certified and verified, all the way to the building the data science and AI solutions for the end users, right? Is that the part of the maintenance? Is that part of the energy? Is that part of the optimization? Whatever it might be, right? Something where we are, Alstom is doing fantastic job, I believe, in terms of looking at the initial idea, and really how that idea will reach the final user, whoever that user might be, and what will be the final benefit for the user. So to summarize what I said, and I said a lot, Sanjay, is
Hmm.
any newcomer, right, in the team will from the day one feel empowered with having the really close relationship with the business, close relationship with the problems, right, and seeing their solutions in works, right, very very shortly.
No, that's great. And as you said, you covered a lot of things in there. So I want to have some follow on questions because it relates to why, um, one of the purposes, as I told you, Ninad, when we spoke earlier, is to have top notch experts come in and look at Alstom also as a potential place because companies like Alstom are doing some incredible work. So I want to address two, three things that you said. I mean, you said working with customers, you are also training, you're bringing in people with their expertise. Somebody might be an expert in, Gen AI, so they could talk about that. Somebody might be an expert in multimodal, they could talk about that. Somebody might be an expert in RAG, they could talk about that, is what you're saying. So that could be it. Um, Two questions, and I'm sure there will come others. One is talk a little bit to our users or listeners who want to know how is AI currently being used at Alstom. People think of you as a mobility, transportation, a train company. AI doesn't, come across, even though we know it's in almost everything. But just give a few examples, and I want to talk about a few other things.
Great point, Sanjay. So first of all, the our first applications of use data science slash AI algorithms, have origins 15 years ago when we realized that within our services organization, we need to do the better job in predicting when the certain part on the train is going to fail. So when you need to replace brakes, when the doors is going to stop closing and opening, right? And the traditional way of changing or for example replacing the filters on HVAC, right, is based was done based on recommendations from the vendors. So I will give you a concrete example. If you when you change your filter, right, on your car, it's very easy to you can basically park your car whenever you want. You buy a part which is $10. You open the glove department and you replace it, put another one, and you're good to go. However, replacing the HVAC filter on the train is super, hard and manual process. So usually these trains are underground, for if in the case of the metro, and they can be replaced only when the train is not moving. Okay, so when you park the car at 2 a.m. in the morning, someone needs to go there and replace that filter at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? Guess what? If you replace the filter too soon, right? Of course, you spend unnecessary money. But if you do not replace the filter on time, and if the HVAC is not working, the train doesn't go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, right, of the expense, which we thought about. Okay, can we do more reliable and better models to estimate really what is the remaining useful life of the part, and when I should replace the specific part. Okay,
Hmm.
so that is the first applications that we developed 15 years ago, all the way to making sure that anything related with internal processes right now. So when we create, for example, the new system, when you need to do the mock-up of the new train,
Hmm.
Gen AI, perfect example for that. If you want to analyze the customer requirements, okay, so a lot of NLP methods, perfect example for that, where you can make sure that You have the good matching or well matching between the requirements and something what you're going to provide for the customer. Another example is when you write the code, right? We are part, as you mentioned, we are moving the people and goods around, but we're moving them in a safe way. And that is the key word. So safety is the number one priority for our industry, right? In order to make the system to be safe, you need to verify your software, right? And software verification was traditionally done manually, but now, of course, using the AI, we're basically creating and generating a lot of use cases as well as a test cases never thought before. Okay, so our coverage is much, much bigger. Another example is making sure that our systems are running even more energy efficient. So we are super efficient, right, in terms of the emitting the CO2, right? But we want to even reduce that more. So our goal is to reduce for globally for all our systems as well as subsystems reduce by 25% the reduction of the CO2, right? So that is yet another challenge where you can use the AI, and we're using it extensively, especially when we do the regulations between when the train should stop and when the other trains should be released, right? So if you have the nice synchronization between the trains, you can basically improve the energy efficiency of the overall system. Okay. Uh, Another example is understanding how many passengers are on board, how they are behaving on board, right? So do they feel comfortable? Is the train too crowded, right? Should they release more trains, or should I hold on some? Again, save if I save only one train per day, that means for some operators literally millions of dollars, right? So again, all these there are numerous examples. To be honest with you, right, there is no single product line right now in Alstom which is not using some of the services from my team or other teams dealing with the data science and AI within Alstom. Okay, so that is, and going back to your point is when I joined Alstom, I also had this idea of okay, it's a legacy company, what I'm going to do there, blah 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 blah, but the opportunities are unlimited, really. So, and everyone is, what is really really cool is with this kind of explanations to what we are doing on a daily basis to our experts, they started thinking about, oh, okay, cool, I can use AI for this. I have yet another use case. Maybe the data science algorithm can be used for my particular case, etc. So you can see that there is really kind of two-way street and a collaboration between us as a data scientist, not having so much domain knowledge, as well as domain métier, right, who are kind of now understanding what we can do for them, right? So excitement is even higher.
Wow. I'm thinking that maybe I should apply for a job there. But Ninad, you talked about that there is no, I mean, this is for our listeners. Think about it. There is no application at Alstom today that is not has an application of AI or data science from Ninad's group. Think about that. Given the depth and breadth of this massive organization, he's talked about predictive analytics in terms of maintenance. He's talked about the environment. He's talked about passenger flow. Just a massive range of applications. Ninad, this is a question as a user. I have sometimes wondered, and this is just for my curiosity, are some of your trains now running without a human in the loop also?
Yes,
I mean,
sir. So
without drivers. This is just my personal curiosity because I always look at the train and see, is there a driver in there, etc.
Such a fantastic question, right? And everyone is hyped about autonomous cars, right?
Hmm.
So we are proud to say that we have autonomous trains, metros, for a decade. Okay,
Wow.
so every
For a
morning,
decade.
yes, so every morning I take line 14 from downtown Paris to Saint Ouen, which is north of Paris, where our HQ is, and this is fully autonomous metro, no driver. Okay,
Wow.
the first line in Paris, line one, was yet another example where there is no drivers, and it's kind of funny to see. Um, I was, I was proud of that fact, right? So I was, explaining to my kids, saying, "Hey guys, see, there is no driver, right?" So they were kind of impressed. But also, it is interesting to see when the people from outside, like a tourists, right, come to Paris, and when they were kind of
Mhm.
looking for a driver, right? So where is the driver in this metro, right? So
I
it
know.
was, it was a kind of funny situation. But also right now we are working on extending the autonomous driving from a metro, from the urban setup where the kind of conditions is limited right into the outside. So basically, when you have the main line
Mhm.
trains, think about the train between, for example, New York City and Pittsburgh, which will be fully without having the person right on board driving the train, right, or at least having the person in remote observing what is
Mhm.
going on with the train, and is in the case of the incident or some abnormal situation, can overtake the control of the train.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, going back to your point, is it is super cool to see that we do have these kind of systems in place for a long time, and they're working great.
Fantastic. Is there any use of computer vision also that's going
Yes,
on? Talk a
yes.
little bit about that because people always talk about large language models, Gen AI, but computer vision's been around for a long time too.
Absolutely, that's yet another good application. So we use computer vision for many of the projects. One is understanding the condition of the steel wheel. So the steel wheel on a train, right, is the subsystem of the train, which is the most prominent to get defects, right, because you have these tons and tons of weight beating up against yet another metal, right. So the characteristics of the like geometrical characteristics of the wheel might change, as well as you might get some cracks.
Mhm.
Well, back in the day, that was done, and still it's done by measuring the geometry of the wheel. But we put in place the system which is using computer vision embedded with the domain expertise. So the domain experts basically labeled the different defects, and based on that, right, we have extremely reliable model to say yay or nay, right, when the wheel comes in a depot for the check. And if any of the defects are there, right, we are providing the recommendations on how that wheel should be maintained, right, how it should be serviced. So that's one example. The next example is related with autonomous train driving.
Mhm.
So for the obstacle detection, we do have the model which is detecting the signals, right, which are sitting next to the sorry, of course, objects which might be on the rail, right. So
Mhm.
that's one. And another one is detecting the signal on the wayside, the signalization device, right, because uh, based on a signalization, the train needs to know, should I stop, should I slow down, should I speed up, whatever that might be, right. Going back to the obstacle detection, super hard problem because there are so many different
Mhm.
cases that you might have. But this one is interesting because it is related with the real problem with the train. And I will give you a concrete example. So if the train hits an object, right,
Mhm.
that train must stop. And you say, okay, that's not a big deal, right? Okay, I stop the train and I check what's going on, and I move on. Well, if we're talking about a high speed train, it takes 2 kilometers, more than 1 mile, to fully stop.
Mhm.
So just imagine, right? You need to have the person walking back a mile up and down, right? More than 2 miles, just to check, what was hit. Okay.
Wow.
So the idea is that if we, develop a reliable computer vision model, which will say, okay, it was, I don't know, a tree, or might be, God forbid, a person, then different actions will put in place. But if it's a tree, I mean, okay, if there is no big damage on the locomotive, right? The train can move on, and everyone back will be happy, right? But again, if in a case of the hitting something, right,
Mhm.
then it's not a nice experience. There is yet another example that I would like to mention. We worked with the partner where they have the signal, the detection signal, to recognize a specific animal, okay,
Wow.
sitting on a track, right? And then if the specific animal was recognized, it will be scared by using a specific sound, which
To
will kind of scare, yes, to kind of
move them.
move them away from the rails, right? So as you can see, there's so many cool applications, right, that we do.
Wow.
Another one is related with, and sorry, I mean, I can talk about this till tomorrow, right? Another one is related with leaving if the luggage is left at the last station of the metro.
Hmm.
Okay, so usually at the last station there must be a person who is kind of checking if there is no left luggage, right, due to different reasons, one of them being security, of course.
Hmm.
And we are doing that, we are performing that by using computer vision model, right, to understand that, hey, there's a luggage left, so send the person in that particular train, in that particular car, to check for the luggage. Sometimes the police must be involved, right? But at least that efficiency, the which basically it's reflected directly into the passenger experience, right, will be great. Again, thanks to the computer vision approaches that we're developing.
Wow. Unbelievable. I mean, I'm learning so much from fixing your wheels to making sure no animal you can move animals in the area I live in. There are a lot of deer that go around, so some of these animals, carrying them away because you don't want to hurt them.
Yeah,
And then luggage, and I've left my luggage behind. So practical uses of
yeah,
technology, which sounds very sexy and great, but listen to what Ninad is saying, how, and he's just talked about a few, how amazing practical things that make a difference in real life. That's fantastic. Ninad, you talked a lot about data for good. There's always concerns about data privacy and data security. You manage a lot of data. How do you make sure about privacy and security of that data?
absolutely. So that is a must for us. We are fully again, example from the computer vision. Okay, one of the applications and use cases that we do is we're counting the number of passengers on a platform waiting for the train, as well as people on board. Of course, you cannot uh, do the facial recognition, none of this stuff, due to data privacy. Okay, so we are embedding within the algorithms the rules which will ensure and enforce the privacy of the people. Okay, so no question about it. I will mention also that we are extremely pushy nowadays within the company to follow up on all regulations which are defined by European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. Okay, so we are, making sure that whatever is within that act will be translated into the our domain, our specific domain. And that is true from the way how we are developing algorithms, the way how we are certifying the algorithms, and the way how we are implementing the algorithms later on in all these systems that I explained to you before. One part of it is data quality and data privacy, big thing, bias as well, big thing, okay? And as well as explainability. So we are making sure that one of the maybe the success stories was that explainability of the models we recognized long time ago. So having the kind of the black box models which will give you the result and you will be so happy about the result was definitely a big no-go within the industrial application within the industrial setup. So we make sure that either the algorithms are by definition explainable, or we put the additional layer on the top of it to make them explainable. Okay, so again, going back very specifically to your question, is it's not only about the data privacy of individuals, which is super important, especially related with the passenger experience, but also even we're looking at that even broader, right? As we call that now, it's not only our term, but it's a well-known term within the industry, a trustworthy AI, which basically embedded all these aspects, going from the data quality, privacy, making sure that its algorithms are certifiable, they are explainable, they are repeatable, etc.
So you are already going ahead and staying ahead of the curve, as you said, even with the EU AI Act, which has been recently passed. The implementation is going to be next year. I think what Ninad is saying is they've gone ahead to be ready, and they're not just waiting. Ninad, does Alstom have something like an AI ethics board or a committee or something like that that what looks at some of these AI applications, or at least sets the rules of the road?
Yeah, so basically, we are part of the many international standardization bodies, as well as the parts which are related with the government regulations. We do have the people which that is their primary job. They are making sure that whatever Alstom is doing and it's related with our work is in a place and according to the standards. Uh, we have two examples which are not natively Alstom core business, and one is definitely AI, as you mentioned. Another one is a cybersecurity. So on both of the aspects, we are aligned with the government bodies, right, as well as standardization bodies, making sure that as you mentioned, right, is we want to whatever we develop right now will be part is either part of the standardization, or it will be part of the standards related with our industry in the future.
Great. So already part of the standardization that is going on, Ninad. Ninad, talk about some of the challenges that an organization that is such large and global in scale that you face in deploying AI solutions at scale, because there's mobile IoT and whole range of other things. So what are the challenges that you face?
Funny thing, because Sanjay, I just got back from the almost the whole day of the workshop trying to figure out the better way of working, right? And it is super cool, right? As you mentioned, so Alstom is, you can think of when you build a train, right? You basically build the components and then you assemble everything, and everything is great, right? Everything goes and work perfectly. So Alstom, as well as all other industrial companies of the similar kind, are kind of used on subsystem development and then kind of slapping everything together and putting everything in a system. Well, that brings back to the point that you have the people which are working for the subsystems, right, in their own places, and then they don't kind of think about what other system is doing, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's very challenging for us, right? So you need to be plugged in every single part of the system development. Okay, so
Wow.
that's one thing, right? Another one is the challenge, of course, getting the data in, it's a challenge because, example, even the autonomous train, right, a decade old. So just imagine, right? Not many people thought back in a day that, hey, I need to, push up the data stream from the trains. So there is a lot of, yeah, but yet another example is when you create, for example, the switch machine, which is the thing allow you to go from one track to another, right? Basically to the diverge. This thing should sit in the middle of nowhere for 25 plus years. Okay, so just think about that. So back in the day, people were not even thinking of need to collecting the data from all these devices and using them from something. So what I want to say is there is a challenge of collecting the data, which we recognize back in the day that we should develop our own data collectors as well as our own devices, which will be certified for the transportation industry in order to collect the right data set. Okay. The third challenge is, of course, everyone is excited about creating the data platforms, right? So, huge company, many of us started creating their own platforms, right? Which is perfect. I mean, there is nothing wrong with that. However, the challenge for me, for my team, is we need to develop a specific, we need to use the specific way of development, the sub modules, right, to plug in into these platforms, right? So, and that's something what we're streamlining right now, big time. So super happy about that part. And the last one is, you know, in within the industrial company like ours, right, where the safety is number one priority, we have fantastic experts. We have the people who are, genius in their own domain, right? So because they're thinking deterministically, right, about their problem using something like data science, AI, blah 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 blah, what is not deterministic, right,
Mhm.
is a big philosophical change in their mind. But then making sure that, again, going back to the trustworthy explainable AI, etc., right, when you develop the application in which they can believe in, right, in the results, they will start getting kind of happy about being a part of it. Another one which is a challenge, right, is making sure that we talk the same language. Okay, so for example, again, going back into my safety example. So within the safety, they talk about 3 sigma, 6 sigma, blah 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 blah, meaning that there is one failure in millions of hours, right? So
Mhm.
they translate that into the errors, right, provided by the AI algorithm. So just imagine, right, if they ask me to develop an algorithm which is not accurate in one single example,
Mhm.
in a millions of times, we are going to be in a trouble, right? But again, it's not about that. It's about understanding their needs and understanding what we can do, right? So these are kind of there's the challenges, but they're super fun. They're super interesting to deal with because that kind of pushes us as a data scientist to think about other side, right? Not about algorithms only, but really about applications of our algorithms for the business.
Oh, that's great. So these are challenges, but they are fun. A common thread that what I heard, Ninad, and this is for our listeners, is you have an organization which has over 80,000 people spread into 63 countries. There are silos of different applications being worked by many different people for you to kind of make sense and standardize that. I think those are some of the big challenges, but as you said, super fun. One of the questions from some of your peers was, Ninad, how do you figure out the ROI of some of your AI applications? Because that's something your colleagues in other organizations are also, how, the figuring out the business impact of the programs and tracking the performance. That was a question that they had to see if they could learn something from you.
That is super. That is a really, really great question, Sanjay, and thanks for asking that. We put in place the assessment kit for understanding the business impact of the use case. So that is basically one of the first questions that we ask. So what is going to be the business impact either in dollar signs or in percentage of the improvement in energy or reduction of the number of repairs or whatever, right? So that is one of the first things. Uh, give you I will give you a concrete example. Is We are developing AI algorithm to understand why the train stopped. Okay, so when something happened with the train, say that train doesn't have the communication with something what they call the back office, train must stop. End of story. Okay, so if there is no beacon signal, if you think about differently, is train stops, meaning that a lot of money, uh, you know, are wasted. People are unhappy. Blah 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 blah. Well, that people are unhappy is something that we cannot measure, but every single stop train we can measure. So that is part of the contract that we do with our customers. And what we are with our algorithms, what we're doing is we're predicting under which conditions the train must stop. So making doing the return of investment in our case, only in this case, is relatively straightforward. So the target was reduced by 50%. So the calculations are easy to do. In case of the predictive maintenance, the same thing. So if I can reduce one single repair, that cost and manpower, cost the stoppage, blah 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 blah. So that is also easy to understand. Some of the topics are not easy to understand. Okay, so sometimes when we, for example, do the let me think about, if we do the energy optimization, right, is we can do it based on some of the networks are well designed. So it's by default it's not easy to optimize them, right? But that the point is, can I keep that level of energy efficiency on the long run? Okay, and that is yet another, that is an example where the return of investment is not easy to calculate, right? But again, we are then answering this kind of requirements mainly based on the customer specific projects.
So, what I think, Nanad, you're saying is there are some tangible and there are some intangible returns or benefits to some of the applications, and you have an assessment that happens around that. So, that's very, very helpful to know. Ninad, in terms of you know, uh, the people and in terms of some of the technologies, just briefly, what kind of AI technologies is Alstom using? I mean, machine learning, deep learning, NLP. or is it all of the above?
So, Jay, we are strongly believers in the no free lunch theorem.
Okay.
So we are for the given data set, for the given use case, and in our specific application for the targeting platform where this algorithm is going to live, right?
Mhm.
We are basically testing, researching a different algorithms, and we pick the best one for the job. So going back to your point, there is no single, big known algorithm that we have not used or implemented or deployed as we speak. Okay, so
So,
I'll give you an example. For example, for the transformers. Okay, so we are
mhm.
using the large language models, okay, like everyone else for talk to my document, blah 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 blah. But we're also developing for the specific log files generated by our devices. Okay, so again, the technology is there, right? We're just using the right tool for the job.
Fantastic. No free lunches, using almost all of them. Ninad, now we'll just shift a little bit towards the kinds of people oriented some questions. When you look, and this is for people who are saying, hey, uh, I want to work, like I said, hell man, I would work. What kind of people, when you look at your team, what is it that you're looking for in terms of people?
Okay, it will be common answer, but I guess we're taking it under different angle. So
Sure.
definitely talented people,
Hmm.
someone who is really interested to learn on a daily basis. So we are keep saying that as a data scientist, usually people see data scientist like someone who is dealing with the data. Okay, that is true, but we are forgetting the scientific part of it. Okay. So we are super interested in growing our expertise on literally daily basis. So we established something what we call the reading club, where every week a member of the team, regardless junior, senior, doesn't really matter, will go through the paper, maybe some the recent paper, maybe some papers from back in the day, but something what is really fundamental for our work. Present the theory, present the code, and present the application where this algorithm was used. Okay, so it is really it's not only about running the open source algorithms over and over again. It's really about deeply understanding the mathematical foundation, the theoretical foundation, as well as being able to reproduce the work, right, from other people on the field. So yeah, that's something what we are really proud of it, that people are really coming after 6 months within a team, 1 year in a team, equipped with a lot of knowledge and in-depth knowledge that, I'm super proud of that. And, and they should be proud of it as well.
Oh, fantastic. So, looking for obviously technical people, but somebody who's creative, but they offer some amazing learning experiences through a reading club, potentially reskilling, upskilling also,
Yes.
opportunities for them because this is a fast moving environment. One question was, how do you maintain a culture of innovation within Alstom? Because if somebody is looking at, hey, should I work for DeepMind or Alstom? How do you keep a foster a culture of innovation and experimentation? Now, obviously, DeepMind will not offer you a free train pass. Alstom will give you a free train pass. Just kidding. But anyway, how do you keep that culture of innovation and experimentation?
It's funny because what you said, we were joking before the AI stands in Alstom for Alstom innovation. Okay, and for the longest time, I was part of the innovation, and I still have very close ties with innovation. Matter of fact, the head of innovations in Alstom, right, holds the AI, the PhD degree from back in the day, right? So it is what was innovation is part of our really DNA. Every 3 months, we do have uh, a competition, which basically the new innovative ideas, the people will come and they will be awarded by a budget to develop this idea as a proof of concept. On a yearly basis, we have a competition again, more like award recognition for the best possible and the most impactful innovation idea for the last year. And that spans from the small ideas, big ideas, green ideas, data ideas, right? So whatever we do, right, really everyone within Alstom is thinking about, okay, what can I do to make my job more efficient, more innovative, right? And we are having, as I mentioned, a specific team of making sure that we are having the right connections with academia, with the research institutions, with the startups, with all other innovative, folks around. So because we are not really alone in this journey, right? You need to have the collaboration between outside the folks as well, and understanding when innovation will come from inside and when we can adopt innovation from the outside.
Fantastic. So there are innovation awards. There's also collaboration with research institutions, startups, and other entities, because Alstom rightly believes that innovation come from anywhere. So that is seems like a great environment to work in. Ninad, finally, there are CEOs, C-level execs who are listening and who are trying to build out their AI capabilities and a chief AI officer role. What lessons from your journey that you've learned, and what advice would you like to give them?
Definitely, this journey is about the people. So having this strong team, motivated team, talented team, someone who is really ready to learn on a daily basis is super important. I believe that transparency is also extremely important, especially in our field. So, if you publish a work, or if you are on a gate review for your new solution and stuff like that, you will always be challenged if this is your solution is right or not, right? So having that honest stand behind your solution is super important. Also making sure that you have the right job description, which again, it looks boring, but it is very important. So understanding is, really, what does it mean to be a data scientist? What does it mean to be AI engineer? What is the ML engineer? What is a data engineer? What is a data science project leader? What is a data science program manager? What is the business developer for the data science and AI, right? What is the DevOps? So it is super important to have the efficient team with the right skill set. So then when they are in this, big team of developing application, right, they know exactly what is their role. But at the same time, they know exactly who they should rely on and what they should expect from another person within the team. So that's the next one. I finally, it is super important for people to see their product going live. So there is a lot of frustration in a data science and AI. And I read over and over again that only 1 out of 10 projects, go live. So just imagine, right? You spend a lot of time developing something, and at the end, it ended up in a basket. Not cool, right? But at the same time, just think about our colleagues building the train, right? So this TGV, which is the fast, high speed train in France, right, started, to be built decades ago, right? So you need to wait decades to see your baby running on that track, right? But guess what? If you are in, data science and AI, you can see your baby, right, running 6 months, a year after you develop it. And that kind of pride of looking into your product being used by the customers, being used by other people, right, is really, really fantastic feel, right? And it's kind of it is not easy, right? It's a challenge, but at the end of the day, the benefits are just phenomenal because you see it running and you see how it's benefiting the people around you. So that is super, super exciting. So again, if you go back from having the right people in the team, making sure that they organize well, they know exactly what is the end goal, and finally seeing their product going live, it's the winning formula.
Great lessons for our CEOs and other leaders who are setting up this team. Have the right team, have transparency, right job description, and then make sure they can see the light of day, not 10% out of 100 projects or 10 projects, 1 out of 10. Make sure it's more than five because they want to see their work come to fruition. Their trains fly at the speed that Ninad is talking. Ninad, just quickly, does uh, Alstom leadership have good visibility in some of the AI stuff that's happening? That was one of the
Absolutely.
questions that had come in. So they have
Absolutely.
good visibility. It's an
Absolutely.
important part of Alstom.
That is one of the top priorities for Alstom. But again, don't think about as AI because of the AI. It's AI with the purpose. Okay, so
Purpose.
how to make it. I like to say that many times is, people are coming and say, hey, I heard about this algorithm, use it, blah 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 blah. But it's not about that. Is you need to come with the problem, with the use case, with the data, and then we're going to get excited about the right algorithms. But it's not AI and data science because of the AI and data science, but there must be a business case, must be the right purpose for it.
Great. Good visibility. It's AI with a purpose. Ninad, finally, we've taken a lot of your time, but we like to do a lightning round of questions, some light,
Sure.
fun stuff for our users. You can pick one. We prefer one, but if you want, you can also, given you've been such a great guest, we can allow you to pick both. So the first one is, Ninad, for you, GPUs or TPUs?
GPUs.
Okay. Python or R?
Python all the way.
Okay, all the way. Wow. TensorFlow or PyTorch?
TensorFlow.
Okay. Cloud or on-prem?
On-prem.
On-prem. Okay. Supervised or unsupervised learning?
Both.
Okay. Open source or proprietary?
Open source.
Open source. Wow. Great. Ninad, that has been just fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us on the CIO podcast. And you've shared some incredible insights, your perspectives on the role of AI in the transportation sector, the challenges, the opportunities, and opportunities of people joining Alstom have been incredible. And I hope, listeners, you enjoyed this as much as I have and gained a deeper understanding of the vital role of the chief AI officer playing, within AI initiatives in their organization. So stay tuned for more captivating discussions with industry leaders as we continue to explore the fascinating world of artificial intelligence. This has been the CIO podcast. Until next time, keep innovating. Ninad, I have one last question I need to sneak in. Is Alstom ready for the Summer Olympics? I need to know that because I might be there and I don't want to get stuck with the traffic there.
Please, if you're coming this way, give me a buzz, okay? And I will give you the secret and the most efficient ways of moving around. And
Okay,
we're getting ready. We're definitely getting ready. We're
you're
going to be
getting
ready for
ready.
it. Yes,
Okay, listeners who are going there, Alstom and Ninad are getting. Will be ready for you. So thank you, Ninad. It's been a great conversation. Really enjoyed it.
Sanjay, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Have a good one.
Thank you.